Hey guys, I'm back with the most awaited speed test on the channel. Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra is here in the studio. So in this video, we will doing the speed test comparison between the S23 Ultra versus the iPhone 14 Pro Max. We have a best of Apple, we have a best of Samsung. And the Samsung S23 Ultra is powered by new Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 4 Galaxy SoC with 8GB of RAM, while the iPhone 14 Pro Max is powered by Apple A15 Bionic SoC with 6GB of RAM. So on the back, as you can see, we have a triple cameras on the iPhone, while Samsung has a quad cameras on the back, and Samsung has a 200 megapixel f1.7 aperture with OIS main camera. Then we have 12 megapixel ultra wide and a 10 megapixel telephoto lens, which give you a 3x optical zoom with OIS. We also have another 10 megapixel telephoto lens, which give you a 10x optical zoom with OIS. While on the iPhone, we have 48 megapixel f1.8 aperture with sensor shift OIS main camera. Then we have 12 megapixel ultra wide and a 12 megapixel telephoto lens, which give you a 3x optical zoom with OIS. And the back on both phones is made up of glass. We have dual ion glass on the iPhone 14 Pro Max versus a Corning Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on the S23 Ultra, and the frame of the iPhone is made up of stainless steel, while Samsung has a armor aluminum frame. So on the bottom we have our USB Type-C on the Samsung versus a lightning port, although we have a stereo speakers on both phones. And Samsung S23 Ultra also has a S Pen, as you can see, you don't see from any other smartphone. We also have IP68 water and dust resistance. So I am very excited to see that how is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 4 Galaxy is gonna stack up against the Apple A16. So anyways, without any wasting time, let's get right into it. So guys, now let's quickly boot both of these phones up at the same time. Let's see which one is faster when it comes of booting up speed. So logos came up first on the Samsung. Samsung is running on Samsung One UI 5.1, which is based on Android 13. While on the iPhone we have iOS 16.4.1. So iPhone 14 Pro Max is much faster when it comes to booting up. Samsung also done as well. So we have a 3 or 4 second difference between these devices when it comes to booting up. We have ultrasonic in-display fingerprint scanner. And Samsung is slightly faster because we don't have a swipe up option on the Samsung. And guys, now let's talk about the displays between these two devices. And Samsung S23 Ultra has a 6.8 inch Quad HD Plus Dynamic AMOLED LTPO 120Hz refresh rate with HDR10+ support and a 1750 nits of peak brightness with Infinity O display on the center. Also, this is a curved display. While iPhone 14 Pro Max has a 6.7 inch Full HD Plus Super Retina XDR OLED display with LTPO 120Hz refresh rate, HDR10+ support, Dolby Vision and a 2000 nits of peak brightness with a dynamic island on the top, which has some useful features in some applications. Overall, I like the display quality on the Samsung S23 Ultra. So guys, everything's closed up in the background. No application is running in the background. Also, we have same Wi-Fi network on both phones. And the first application we have is the phone dialer, that is little faster on the iPhone. Again, you can see the animations feels really smooth on both phones, no jitters, anything like that. So now let's open settings. Again, faster on the iPhone. So now let's go to the display. So we have LTPO 120Hz refresh rate on the Samsung, which you also find on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Now check out some more apps. Amazon Shopping, and that is little faster on the Samsung. Scrolling feels absolutely smooth, no jitters, anything like that. So now let's open that. Samsung is slightly faster, and Samsung has a fast scrolling speed. So now check out some games application. So this way we should see a difference between the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 4 Galaxy versus Apple A16. Now let's see Candy Crush Saga. Exactly the same as you can see. And now let's open Instagram. Slightly faster on the Samsung. And now let's spin out. Very similar performance as you can see. I did not expect that. Snapchat, and that one faster on the Samsung. Again, and social media applications always more optimized on iPhones. Spotify slightly faster on the Samsung. And now let's see Subway Surfer, another game. Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 4 Galaxy, Apple A16. Exactly the same as you can see. I did not expect that. So let me show the speakers on both phones. First on the Samsung, which is improved from the S22 Ultra. And here is the iPhone 14 Pro Max. And the speakers, it is more louder on the iPhone 14 Pro Max, also has a lot more bass, but Samsung S23 Ultra also has really good speakers. Now let's see Temper 2. That is much faster on the Samsung. So Samsung is taking the lead this time. And the display looks really nice on the Samsung. Big game which is called as PUBG Mobile, Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 4 Galaxy, Apple A16. So exactly the same performance as you can see. Also in that game we have smooth graphics with 90 fps on the iPhone versus a smooth graphics with extreme frame rate on the Samsung. So the gaming experience, it is miles better on the iPhone, but the Adreno 740 GPU, it is more powerful than the iPhone, but games, it is more optimized on iPhones. So now let's opening up the Twitter, and that one faster on the Samsung. Now let's open Zedge, and that one, it is faster on the Samsung S23 Ultra. iPhone always open Zedge app very slow. Scrolling feels absolutely smooth, as you can see. No jitters, anything like that. I am really impressed by the performance of the Samsung S23 Ultra. This phone does not show me any frame rate drop. So last I'm launching the cameras on both phones, default camera application. So iPhone is faster than the Samsung S23 Ultra. So now let's look at the front facing camera. And the front facing camera, 12 megapixel, we have f1.9 aperture with autofocus versus f2.2 aperture. So the low light performance, it is better on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. But anyways, you know, the video performance always much better on this iPhone. Okay guys, now let's see internet browsing speed. So I am using for Samsung internet on the Samsung versus a Safari internet on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. So now let's open wikipedia.org. Now let's open at the same time. Same Wi-Fi network, Samsung is faster. Scrolling feels really smooth. Again, Samsung has a fast scrolling speed. This time very similar performance, absolutely smooth. Next on the list is Samsung.com, and that one, it is faster on the Samsung. iPhone is still loading, I don't know why. Also done. Scrolling feels absolutely smooth, as you can see. So without any wasting time, now let's open Geekbench 6 on both phones, and now let's run the CPU benchmark at the same time. So guys, iPhone 14 Pro Max is completely done. So on the iPhone we have 2522 single core score, 6311 multi-core score, while Samsung, it is still at 87%. So guys, Samsung S23 Ultra also done. On the Samsung we have 1890 single core score and 4866 multi-core score. So now let's see RAM measurement on both phones. So on the Samsung we have 8 GB of RAM, while on the iPhone we have 6 GB of RAM. Let's see how is the 8 GB of RAM is gonna perform on the Samsung. Phone dialer, no refresh. Settings, Amazon shopping, let's see Candy Crush Saga, still there in the memory. Instagram, let's see Pinout, Snapchat, Spotify, Subway Surfer. You can see RAM measurement, it is really solid even on the Samsung with 8 GB of RAM. Temper 2 still there. Let's see PUBG Mobile. You can see RAM measurement is really solid. So opening up the Twitter, still there in the memory. Zedge, and last we're back to the internet browser where we left, as you can see. And cast over I have to say regarding the app's opening speed, as you can see that, and the iPhone 14 Pro Max as well as the Samsung S23 Ultra, both devices is perform very similar in system-based applications as well as in games. In games, we will see a little faster performance on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. So in terms of the RAM wise, in that area, both phones is perform excellent in the RAM management. Not a single refresh even on the Samsung. Really impressed by the performance of the S23 Ultra. Samsung is done excellent job on this phone, mostly thanks to the optimization with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy SoC. So the Samsung S23 Ultra has a 5000 mAh battery size with a 45 watt fast charging support, but in the box we does not get any charger, while on the iPhone 14 Pro Max we have 4323 mAh battery size with a 20 watt fast charging support, but again no charger in the box. So thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you like this video. So do let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram and Twitter as well. And I will see you in my next video. Peace out.